Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Motorcast. It's yours, Dave. Got a line special guest, top fuel dragster driver Lee Callaway. How you doing, Lee?
Doing good.
So you did some licensing over the weekend in Scott Palmer's dragster. I saw. How'd that go?
Oh, everything really well. The people there at the track were nice, and it was pretty awesome. Scott made that car go down the track, and it was like 50 degrees outside, and before everyone run, all the pro mods run, and no one made it down the track, and I figured, oh hell, but it went right down the track.
So you have your license now?
Oh yeah.
Now, besides Scott, who signed up for you?
Spencer Massey.
So now, do you have a top fuel dragster already built?
Yeah, Scott has a car that's put together for us right now, and it was ready to run. We were going to run it a couple weekends ago at a local track up there for him, the Ozark racetrack, and that flooded came into Houston, and I'm in the collision and the storage lot tow truck business, so we got overwhelmed and we weren't able to make it. So Scott decided we'd take his car out and let me license in it since we haven't, got to take mine down the track yet.
So now for next season, how many events you looking to run?
We're gonna, for sure, we're gonna run 3 races. We'll run the Houston, Dallas, and the Vegas race, and maybe add 1 additional races. But 4 would probably pretty much be our the most we'll make.
Yeah, earlier I had Terry Totten on. He was wondering how many events you were actually going to run.
Yeah, probably just 4 unless something changes.
All right, so now let's turn back the clock on how did you begin your drag racing career? What got you into it?
My father was drag racing, working on cars and stuff for back in the 70s and 80s, and then in the 90s, we had a lot of success, mainly divisional level. We didn't hit a lot of the national events, but I won Division 4 championship in 2002 and finished second in '03. And we won the nationals in 16. So when we took it out, it ran really well. We just didn't race it a whole lot due to having to work.
So what's the quickest pass you had with the alcohol dragster?
527 at 274.
Now, with the alcohol funny car, how'd you do?
We did pretty well with it as well. We won, I think, 2 or 3 division races with the alcohol funny car as well. And we decided to go back to the dragster. That's why I always liked the dragsters more than the funny cars.
Now, the licensing pass you did with Scott's dragster, what were your times?
We only ran it to the 8th mile, and I believe we ran some. The last run we went was 3:30 something, I believe.
So now, Lee, the first time you ever went down a drag strip, what was the experience like?
Well, it was. It was definitely an experience to get into a top fuel car. And at the initial, people asked me, but the initial leave of the top fuel dragsters is basically the same. It's just probably when the clutch starts to come in, or probably 200 feet out or 300 feet. It's like and you've probably heard people say this. It's like you leave the starting line again when the alcohol cars start to plane out a little bit. And it just keeps on pulling. As long as you have your foot in it, it's setting you back in the seat for sure.
Now, when you first started drag racing, when you got into it, did you have any drag racing, inspirational racers out there, heroes, anything?
Yeah, I had I've had several. I mean, obviously everyone likes John Force because of the reason he started with nothing and built himself up. Kind of, same thing I was telling someone yesterday. I put on Facebook about Scott Palmer, and that's how I started my racing. I started with stuff that you're, almost embarrassed to show up with, but you just get out there and build from that. If you want to do it, you can do it. So, I mean, mainly I always like the inspiration is for people that went out there and worked hard to get where they're at.
So now, when you started drag racing, was your family involved in it?
Yes, forever my whole family went with me, my mother and father and my brother, and it was a lot of fun. Hopefully they'll continue to go with me some, in my future racing stuff. But back on another note of, people I look up to, basically like Tom Conway, he's always, he's helped me a lot over the years. I wouldn't probably had quite the success I've had without him.
Now, when you take the when you used to take the alcohol dragster, how many crew members did you have?
Usually we took around 5 people with us.
Now, for the top fuel car, how many crew members are you gonna have?
Oh, I'm not even sure yet. We haven't quite got that far. I'm kind of letting Scott help me figure all that out, but I'm assuming around 7.
Now, what are some of your favorite tracks?
Actually, the Dallas racetrack that I'll be running next weekend is probably one of my favorite tracks. That I've had a lot of success there, for sure.
Now, when you're out on a track for a race, do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions?
That's something I don't have.
You don't have to get in the dragster the same way every time or nothing like that?
Well, that's supposed to be common. You always get in on the driver's side, which is the left side. I've seen someone the other day get in on the right side on TV, and I was like, what the hell is that guy doing?
All right, so now for the top fuel dragster, do you have any sponsors yet?
No, right now it's just myself pretty much funding the whole thing. I have some potential things that are in some individuals that have helped me along the way that didn't want to be mentioned. They just financially helped me, and so just good friends of mine.
Now for the top fuel dragster, what is it gonna say on it? Is it say Callaway or what's on it?
It'll have Callaway Collision on it, the business that I own.
Now, how long have you done the Callaway Collision business?
I've had that particular business for 10 years.
Well, you can plug it if you want.
What's that?
I said if you want to plug your business, you can go ahead and plug away.
Okay.
Because, if anyone would, wants to come out and get their car looked at or whatever.
Oh, yes.
You do like estimates and all that for like putting in.
We're a full collision center. So basically, we do work for major insurance companies and then private individuals, commercial. So we pretty much turnkey do everything. We do custom paint for Harleys. We do a lot of paint for Harley Davidson.
Yeah, what part of Texas are you located in?
And we're in the Baytown, Channelview area, which is just outside of Houston, east of Houston.
All right, so anybody listening to the interview that's in that area and you get a fender bender, you want to go get your car estimated, you could stop by Lee's place.
Yeah, and we also are, on the internet and Facebook under Callaway Collision as well.
Now, for you, Lee, what goes into preparation to get ready for a weekend of racing?
Well, quite a bit. People don't quite understand is when you get ready to go to a race, getting all the tickets, hotel accommodations, the parts. For myself, owning I've always owned, drove, and pretty much tuned my race cars and sponsored it. So I have to do everything, and there's just getting everything accommodated. Really, in racing, the accommodations is like the travel and getting everyone to the track and back is a lot of work.
So now, after the years of drag racing, what still keeps you passionate about doing it?
Well, I like the people, all the friends that I've made over the years at the racetrack. So it's like you go to the racetrack, it's going to a family reunion. So I like that, part of the racing, and then I like the adrenaline. Basically drag racing is my drug. I've never done drugs in my life, so that's pretty much my drugs. My friends like, you spend money, that's crazy. And I said, well, until you experience it, you wouldn't know. I tell some people, I say, don't do it. Don't try it. It's so expensive, but it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I think the people, the friends I've made, just like making friends with Scott, that's what gave me this opportunity, is being friends with him. I met him, way back when at some races. So.
Have you ever done the 8th mile racing?
No, I see a lot of it. I help a friend of mine, Shane Heckle, and he has he does a lot of 8th mile racing and stuff. So, but I personally haven't done any myself.
Now, Lee, where do you get all your fire safety equipment from?
I've bought from both Impact and Simpson as well. But I believe I may be fixing to switch some stuff over that it's the RJS or that helps Scott Palmer, so I'm going to support them for supporting him. So that'll be my next anything I need to purchase. I'll be getting it from them people.
Now, throughout your drag racing career so far, have you had any accidents or close calls?
Oh yeah. In 1997, I had a wing break off the car at Houston, and I went over the guardrail and went through the ditch and through the scoreboards and broke the car in 3 pieces.
Wow. But you walked away from that okay though?
Oh yeah, so financially, physically, I did.
Yeah. So that's the only accident you've had.
What's that?
I said that's the only accident you've had so far, right?
Yeah. I hope that's the only one I have.
Yeah. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
So now, with Dragster, what was your quickest pass?
And the top fuel car?
No, the alcohol one.
The alcohol car. I went 527 in the alcohol car at the 274, and I think it was either 26 or 27 in Conway's 8 fuel car, and back in 06 when I was driving it. And then the alcohol funny car, I ran a 556 in it.
Now, so far, what would you consider to be some of the milestones of your racing career so far?
Well, I mean, ultimately, I went in the national event in Baytown. I literally live a mile and a half from there. So winning that race with all my friends and family and stuff there, that's probably the biggest thing that's happened to me maybe in life. I don't know. It was really exciting and, overwhelming to do that. And we ran good. I mean, we actually didn't, we earned that race. So that really made it feel special. So.
Now, lately, I've been watching live feeds over the summer, watching different track lives, and seeing a lot of like empty grandstands. What do you think can be done about that to get more people to come out to watch drag racing these days?
Well, I would have to assume that the biggest problem with that is the expense it costs to go to a national event. I mean, it's real expensive. So I think and that's probably put some limits on some of the people from coming out to the seeing the races. Is overall the amount that it costs to go. I think the shows are better now. They're not drawn out, boil downs and stuff. So there's pretty much something going on all the time. Some of the things they have done, I don't know. It seems like they've tried to make some moves to get things working, like adding the Top Fuel Harleys and running the Pro Mods and things like that. So I think they have the right cars there. So I'm not really certain what gets people in the gate. But I know they do need to do that for themselves and for anyone that's coming to the racetrack that has sponsors. It's hard to sell things when the sponsor comes in. The stands are empty.
Yeah, even with some of the smaller races like NHRA stuff like that, Nostalgia. I noticed empty seats for those too.
Yeah, what's crazy is some of it could be promotional things as well. Because obviously, I have to take my hat off to the people that own that track over there. What is it? Is it the Ohio track? They promote and they sell that whole thing out every year, even division race or anything. The Baiters, I believe is their name.
Oh, that Norwalk.
Norwalk, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it can happen. I don't know how they do it, but I know that every time I see something that they mention that their races, how many people show up there.
Yeah, then Martin, Michigan, they seem to do pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like some of the races and some of the independent things I see at places like even now they're having the nostalgia, the funny car deals. Someone had posted something on Facebook the other day. I was looking at it. It was packed too as well. So there again, I don't know if it's advertising, marketing, or lack of that's keeping people from the stands, or maybe it's it's financially decision. Maybe it's cheaper. I'm not sure. But, the two of them have to be fixed to make anyone come. You have to market and make it affordable.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to ask you a few fun questions here. If someone were to come up to you, Lee, and give you $800 million, and they wanted you to build a brand new drag race track, where would you consider building a brand new track, and what kind of features would you want to put into that new track?
Well, that's really a tough question. Again, I guess you would need to have someone market something and see what kind of market area you're in. But definitely, obviously, like something a nice track with some nice accommodations. I'm not really certain, but there has to be something someone could build something that would that would be nice. Like you see these stadiums now, every time someone builds something, they one up the next person. These sports stadiums. So basically, that's what you would have to do. Make it nicer.
Like some people, when I asked that question, some people said they would like the covered grandstands for the fans to keep the sun out of them and stuff.
Oh, definitely. That would definitely be. When you have this weekend, someone had posted on Facebook as well that about the track, the stands being empty at the race in Charlotte. But someone posted back that apparently was at the track said that it had some rain, so a lot of people they just leave. You don't pack a set of clothes with you, so you get wet. You go home. So that definitely would be. For sure, in some areas maybe where people could get instead of sitting in the stand, it may be covered as well. It would be nice.
Then some drivers I interview, they say maybe give some more like activities for kids to do while the racing's going on, so the kids don't get bored.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what's sad about this these days now is, kids. When I was growing up, you went to your parents' race, you went to the racetrack, and you kind of got involved in it. I think that we've lost a lot of fans because of these video games. They're more intrigued by that than going to a racetrack and working physically, putting your hands on something and working on it. I don't know if that's such a good thing these days, but you see that kids don't play outside anymore. they play inside on the social media network gaming systems.
Exactly. Yeah, we'd play
I
out.
really think that's a big portion of where some of the fans are going. I've even heard some people tell me that they've even had that. I have some friends that do some marketing stuff for sports teams, and even major league places now are losing so much because you can sit home and watch some shit on TV and and drink a $12, $10 12-pack of beer instead of a 2 for 12 or whatever they charge you. So.
Yeah, I remember the days we'd get off school and play all day after school outside till the dinner time, then get caught in for dinner, then after dinner go back out till the street lights come on, and that's it. Come back in again.
Oh, definitely. I remember that with outside doing stuff, and your parents had to make you come inside. Now you try to make your kids go outside.
Yep.
I think the addiction, but I really firmly believe that that's some of what's happened. I mean, the new era of kids, they're not, I guess, what you call gearheads anymore.
Yeah. So now, do you have any other hobbies outside of drag racing?
No, I just pretty much drag racing, and I do a lot of motorcycle riding, quite a bit of that. That's pretty much the other hobby I do. I don't play golf or any of that.
No hunting, no fishing.
I really can't afford to do too much. My hobby that I have kind of consumes all the money I can make and then some.
Oh yeah, especially now with the nitro. And the nitro, when I was just talking to Terry Todd, he's like, you guys don't know how the price of nitro is gonna go with the way the China tariff and all this stuff is now.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I think we bought a drum of nitro to go run this race, and it was like $2,100.
Yeah, but you guys don't know if it's gonna go up, get raised up more the price, or you don't know yet for the future. That's nitro.
Well, that's something I'm not sure of, but Scott had mentioned the other day that when we were talking about the expense for going to the Dallas race, and he said, and we don't even know what nitro's going to be. So obviously, I haven't been out in the mix of that, but obviously it's a concern for him as well, because he was telling me that it's now for people like which my team will be a independent, lower funded team, that the nitro for the qualifying money, you pretty much burn a big portion of what you could make just in the nitro itself.
Yeah.
And that could be keeping some teams from coming out. Scott had told me, that's a difference of some people traveling and going to a race and not, or not going, is the price of the nitro.
Yep. So now, Lee, throughout your drag racing career, have you won a lot of trophies, plaques, stuff like that?
Yeah, I think I have 9 or 10 division race trophies, Wallies, and then the one national event.
Now, if you were able to do time traveling and go back in a time, would you do anything differently with the drag racing career?
No, I don't believe so. I had to say that, I've had a good time, and even when I was having a bad time, it wasn't such a bad time. And like I say, it's just struggling. Now, maybe if I, like I stated earlier, I don't know that if I could have just had money to start off winning, but I don't think that I would like to do it that way. So I feel like accomplished for what I've done in my career of racing. I've been self-employed since I was 16 years old, and so I've pretty much done my own business and my racing stuff on my own. And I've always been kind of nervous. I could have went and rented a car probably cheaper than what it costs to have all the stuff that I have. People don't realize you have a race car. You have to have a race shop and so on and so forth, and taxes and insurance for trucks and trailers to sit there when you're not racing. But racing with Scott, and we're kind of just, people asked me and him this weekend, well, whose car you're driving? Scott said, well, they're our cars. We have 3 of them. And we'll just, when Lee runs, we'll choose the best one, and when I run, I'm going to choose the best one. Whatever one we got that's running is what we'll share it. they're our cars, we'll do that. No more than I'm going to race. So, and Scott fit into my program. I don't know, people that know me, I draw people in because I'm not the average person. I'm like Scott. I have bands play at my trailer every night. I give free beer, food, which I have to limit that. I've been told for, I guess, in the Top Fuel thing, I think you have to pay. There's fees that come with that as well. But yeah, but that's the fun of it. So Scott Palmer, though, he fit right into my. I was actually quitting racing and selling everything I had. In 2018, Scott invited me to Baytown, and he's like, "You need to try this." And I said, "No, Scott. I'm retiring. I've done all I want to do, and I'm okay with what I've done, and I think it's time for me to do that." And he talked me into doing this whole program, basically. And I mean, I'm glad I did, but I wouldn't have done it with anyone else. I had some other offers for some other, good teams, but Scott kind of fit in. I think the way we race and stuff, this is kind of a fit. Like this weekend, I went and racing with Scott. This is just, there's no drama. I don't think, if anything, I don't know what could get him like in panic mode or to get irritated or aggravated. If someone done that, you'd really have to screw up to piss him off, I'm pretty sure. And it's just a good time. And if you're going to spend that kind of money, I tell people, and you're not having a good time, you should do something different.
You think he'll ever let you behind the wheel of the Studazilla?
I don't know. I'm sure Scott would probably give me a chance to try that, but I'll leave that to his crazy ass to do that one. Maybe when he gets it lined out, then he gets it running, and I feel like it's, if it ever is safe to ride in, I'll give it a try.
Now, as far as the sport of drag racing, do you have any thing on a bucket list that you still want to do in that sport?
Not really. I pretty much, just getting my license in this thing and racing is probably, you got to realize to win a race, people don't quite realize what it takes. I raced forever and never won the race, and to say that I'm going to go out and ever win a Top Fuel race, I don't even have that in my. I'm going to be realistic. It's tough to win. There's good teams out there that's never won. It's just, it's tough out there to win. That's no doubt. You've got some teams that are, very talented teams that they're tough to beat.
Now, you're saying you like to have bands play in the pit. What's your favorite music?
Oh, I like classic rock.
What's your favorite classic rock band?
The Eagles.
Now, you like AC/DC?
Yeah, I like AC/DC. I've seen pretty much any classic band or classic rock band that's still alive and playing. I've pretty much seen that. That is, I guess, when you asked him about hobbies earlier, I like to go see the bands and stuff. So that's.
Now, do you have any classic rock songs that get you pumped up for racing?
Not really. I like all of them.
So what's your favorite food to eat?
Mexican food. Hell, I'm down in the South. That's all there is to eat. It's not bad.
Favorite beverage?
Beer.
What's your favorite beer?
Coors Light.
Now, do you have a favorite non-alcoholic beverage?
Not really.
Water?
I drink beer and water. That's the two things I drink.
Okay. What's your favorite movie of all time?
Well, that's a good question. It's crazy to say this, but I guess I really have one. I don't hardly watch TV too often.
Now, when you were a little kid, did you watch TV?
I didn't watch TV much when I was a kid. I just never. Now I watch some sports stuff, but movies, I can't even tell you when I ever went to a movie. It's been who knows when.
Did you watch cartoons when you were a kid?
No cartoons.
All right. So now, when you're at the track for a day of racing, for eating habits, do you eat regularly or do you eat very light before races and then after the race you eat more?
I usually wait till after the race to eat, but then again, I do all the cooking. I cater all the food myself when we go to the races. That's something I enjoy doing.
So you're a big barbecue guy?
Yeah, I can pretty much cook, barbecue, grill, anything you can possibly think. I could probably do it. That's the two things I'm good at: is cooking and racing.
Now, if you weren't a drag racer, what do you think you'd be doing?
Well, I don't have no clue because that's all I wanted to ever do was since I was a little kid. So I'm kind of doing right now. I'm doing what I want to do. I wouldn't want to do anything else. I'm pretty sure. As I get older, I need to find me some type of a hobby.
Now, what would you consider to be the fondest memory of your drag racing career?
Well, again, probably, winning the national, like I say, in Baytown, that was really big. But I won my first division race in 2002 in Scribner, Nebraska. So just winning that race and having all my family there was pretty emotional. I had some friends that came with me and they'd never been to a race. And they're like, "What are y'all? What's going on here?" And they're like, "Well, we won that race, okay." And I'm like, "Well, I've been doing this for a long time, and you work hard to get to this, and so that was probably one of my fondest memories."
So you don't have no wife and kids in?
I'm divorced now, but I have a son that's 22 in college.
So does he like drag racing?
Yeah, he likes it. We've done some junior dragster racing and things like that.
Now, if people are listening to the interview and they want to, see where you're going to be racing at next season with the Top View Dragster, what's the best way for them to follow you?
Well, we have a Facebook, a Callaway Racing Facebook, and we'll probably keep that pretty updated at what our racing plans are for next year.
Now, how important do you think it is for the kids to come out and watch drag racing in this day and age?
I think the kids to get out of the house and do anything, ride their bicycle or come to the track or get involved in something would be great.
Yeah, like you said earlier, stop being zombies in front of video games.
No doubt. I don't really see nothing wrong with it. I don't play video games. I've never played a video game in my life. But it's just not kids. It's just weird that nowadays I have friends of my age that go home and play the video game.
Yep, for hours and hours and hours.
Hey, but I told them I think I might be envious because if I could find something that was that damn cheap and I could stay home and have that much fun, it wouldn't be such a bad deal, I don't guess.
Yeah. Maybe, start playing some drag racing games.
Well, that's what they need to make. I asked them, my son, if they had a good drag racing game. They don't have one now. So I told them I'd play that one, but maybe I should invent one of those.
Yeah, you might strike it rich with that and you won't be racing no more.
Right?
Or maybe that'll fund your racing with the invention of a drag race. That'll fund your drag racing.
I've been fortunate. I guess that drag racing drove me to make money. I would probably have some of the things I've done in life without the racing. I've been pretty successful as a business person. So, but I think that the want to have a racing team and then do successful. I knew that the only way you can do that is to have some kind of a funding, and try to get sponsorship is so hard. So I just went out and worked harder and kept building things. So it's the racing kind of given me some financial success of my own. To get me out there to do it every day, and Scott Palmer, we were talking this weekend, and he's my one of my mentors is Jackie Stidham. Well, he met them at a local track with his door car, and street car, and he said, "Man, this is what I want." And Ronnie Stidham, Jackie's brother, told him, "Well, sell that car and go buy you one." He said, "Well, how'd I do that?" Well, he did it. Looking back on my racing career, I don't know how I afforded it. There's a lot of times I went to the racetrack, and hell, if anything happened, that would have been street. I wouldn't even be able to buy nothing. It took everything I had, and I wouldn't do it any other way. And that's, Scott tells people, if you want to get out and do it, you can do it. You just got to commit. You start off, and people may think you're crazy, and you may look like a fool, but if it's something you want to do, you can make it happen. The only governor you have is what you govern yourself.
So there you go. If anybody's listening to an interview and they're thinking about becoming a drag racer, there's your advice. Right? That's your word of advice to them, right?
Oh, no doubt. Luckily, in the United States where you live, the opportunity is, anything you want to do, if you want it, you can go try it and do it. But if you sit and think about it and say you can't do it, you're not going to do a damn thing.
Yeah.
The old saying, well, it can't never did shit. That's true.
Yep. So now for next season with the Top Fuel Dragster, what are you looking to accomplish?
No, I haven't set any big goals. Obviously, just not look like a fool. Go to A to B and make sure it all stays together, and and build off of it at my expectations. You're getting into something that is expensive, and it's hard to set. Just qualifying to me would be, would be great. The races I take it out qualifying, and it all stay together, and that's an accomplishment. That's winning for now, for sure.
All right. Well, I wish you the best of luck with the Dragster next season.
I appreciate that.
And I want to thank you very much for taking time to do the interview. And you have any final words or thank yous or any kind of that kind of good stuff?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd like thank Scott Palmer and his whole race team. Magic Drive, they're not helping me. This is a separate deal, but for helping Scott, because if it weren't for them, he wouldn't get the opportunity that I was given. But if anyone wants to come out, I'm sure Scott Palmer, he has tons of fans, but we'll be at Dallas next weekend. If anyone's out, stop by and say hello to us.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Lee.
Thank y'all.
You have a great night.
You too.
Bye-bye.